Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, the former mayor of the great city of Downey, and you're listening to Talking Downey with Mayor Mario Guerra. This is a little special show, and I'm going to do it to tell you how a local paper, not in Downey, we have a credible paper in Downey, one called Los Cerritos News, continues to hijack its own facts, if you will. And they decided to participate in Downey issues because a couple of gadflies were spreading some things. There was a guy, Ernesto Valle, one of the guys that ran for council, that's been spearheading the anti-Olson along with this guy, Carlos Gomez. And they've been putting out in Downey Crime Watch edition things like, I need a lawyer because the Planning Commission did this and that. They're going after me because my daughter owned a condo there 8 years ago. Things like that. But guess what? They finally found a willing taker that doesn't really matter what the truth and the facts are. So they reached out to Brian Hews of Los Cerritos News. In politics, we kind of know him as a hatchet job. That's what most politicians call him. They're real scared of him because he goes after you, and the truth is kind of doesn't really matter. He kind of says what he wants, and then he'll do gotcha things. Okay, and I'll tell you how. For example, too, his credibility shot. In 2013, he accused Cerritos mayor of being an agent of Communist China after the city stopped its advertising thing. It was a whole story in the Pest Telegram. They kind of went after him and said how, disingenuous that was. In 2014, he was fined $5,000 by the Political Fair Practices Commission after he created a political action committee and then published misleading information in his newspaper. And that's the Orange County newspaper on April 17th, 2014. Then he was caught in 2014 also plagiarizing from another news source website, and he was forced to apologize. It was an ABC affiliate, and he had to publicly apologize, and he faced some scrutiny. Then in 2017, he was sued by Central Basin Director Leticia Vasquez, and then he sued La Mirada City Council member Andres Arriaga. So he's got a long history of doing things, and that's why most people don't take him on, and most politicians will tell you. Last night at the city council meeting, this gentleman named Brian Heyman, which is in the story about me, he's accused of being working for Olson Homes, and this is just a resident. He went up there and he says, hey, that fish wrapper of a paper, that's his words, not mine, don't sue me, Brian. That fish wrapper of a paper got his facts wrong again. And let me tell you what the facts, and it's like, he thinks that he's the most important person on there. He sent me an email on Saturday. I don't check the city email on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not a council person. I am a planning commissioner. So there's nothing urgently on weekends that needs to be done. On Monday morning, I went to UC Riverside working on some Army issues with them, some great things happening there. So I didn't check it till Monday afternoon, and then it was a second request. And then he goes, why are you ignoring me? And it's like, and then he blames me why I don't check my city email on weekends. I'm thinking to myself, what is it to you? Kind of thing. There's nothing urgent, but he had to have this story now. So first question he asked me, why didn't I vote on the Planning Commission last month when I was in Fort Campbell, Kentucky with the United States Army in my role as a CASA. And when I told him you're not allowed to vote on a public hearing. And then he comes back and recites all the Governor Newsom and COVID Zoom laws and the whole thing, which are fine. But the city of Downey, in a public hearing, you have to make that agendized in public. We don't do that. There's no reason to do that, okay? So we don't. And I could not vote while I was out of town because there's no way to verify that I'm sitting there, that I'm listening, that I do all the things on there. Anyways, it's just not allowed by the rules in the city of Downey. Same thing on the Planning Commission and the city council. So that was his first argument with me. Then he asked me if I was a customer of Olson Homes. And I said, no, I'm not. I go, here's my statement that I said at the planning commission meeting. My daughter bought a condo there. I loaned her the money, and she bought it for $538 in 2016. Forget me the numbers, and I think I sold it back in 2017 or 18 for $590,000, and now it's worth $740. So it was market price back then. He goes, well, I have the title deed showing this and that you're a customer. I'm like, I'm not a customer. I loaned her the money for it. So he makes this whole thing, how he reported this in 2020, how I sold the condo cheaper to Eric Pierce. And when he did that, it finally hit me when I read the story. He has a long-running history of retaliation and fighting with Eric Pierce and Jennifer Decay. Eric's the editor of the Downey Patriot. Jennifer Decay is the publisher of the Downey Patriot. Good local paper. They have high ethical standards, high levels of integrity. Our community loves them. And they beat him out for the adjudication. The adjudication is where newspapers make their money. When I'm doing a name change or applying for a liquor license or whatever, you have to publish it in some paper. So, look towards the back end of the Patriot. You see all those little lines and stuff. That's called an adjudication. And that's really good money. Most newspapers do really well by that. But you have to be, authorized. You need to be, have a certain number of papers. The city has to vote on it, on which one they're using. So they use the Downey Patriot over their Los Cerritos News that doesn't even get delivered in the city of Downey. So he doesn't like that. And he has a grudge. The fact that he's quoting them both in there said something. So he starts off with Brian Heyman of the Olson Company, and he uses his name 3 or 4 times. Brian Heyman is a resident, has nothing to do with the Olson Company. I think at the end of one of the planning commission meetings, he went up there, he goes, hi, I'm Brian Heyman, and went on to explain something. And it shows you the laziness of Mr. Hews that he just took that and ran. Then he accused me of, not calling in. And the story goes on that, I sold it cheaper to Eric Pierce. I'm not sure what my motivation is. But, folks, I'm not going to give money, $20,000 to anybody out of my family. Okay, that's my family's funds. I'm not giving you $20,000. So the fact that he thinks I gave Eric Pierce a $20,000 discount, sorry, Brian, it's just not true. It goes on to your credibility. So he writes this nasty hit piece, and of course he sends it to all the council people. And I think he was trying to sway, it was before last night's council meeting, trying to sway the Olson Homes deal, which passed 3-2. Mayor Pro Tem Sosa, Councilwoman Claudia Fermena, and Mayor Mario Trujillo all voted for it. Dorothy Pemberton and Horacio Ortiz, that's in another show, voted against it. I think Dorothy was afraid because she's running for re-election, and I think Horacio just was, swayed by Dorothy's argument on there. But it's a no-brainer. It's one of the best projects the city's seen in a long time. It's going to change that area in a positive way, 700,000 plus on there. But the 2 agents of bad were there's Ernesto Valley, that gadfly. So, by the way, he came up later on in the meeting last night. They had a council meeting where they had the Olson project, the flag policy, and then, of course, all these protesters regarding Gaza. And he comes up and he says, I'm pissed. I took a beating tonight. So he doesn't even live on the island. So his beating must be that he lost the Olson home vote, which is a really good project for the city. But he got his way. He tried to embarrass me, and he got his way. He found somebody that's, maybe doesn't care about the facts so much, that's got a ethical past and unethical past on there by reading some of those things, and it kind of happened. So, Brian, next time you got to get the facts, man. I sent you every single thing, a word that I said, and you published very little of it, and because it didn't fit your narrative. I made it a point of saying that this was for my daughter, and it did. I even sent you a photo of my daughter being proposed by her now husband, Tyler, in that living room of that condo. Okay, I never lived a day in that condo. It was her condo, and now she lives in a really nice little neighborhood that she moved into with more space with her 2 kids and her husband. So I just wanted to go on the record and let this know. So, folks, this will be used against me again in the future. I'm not a customer of Olson. And by the way, I'm not sure what that means anyways. Does that mean if I bought a Honda, I can never vote on Honda 6 or 7 years later? Let's say I was a customer of Olson. It's 6 or 7 years ago. I have no financial interest on this project. Oh, he was going on about the Brown Act. I wasn't there at that meeting, but how the city attorney, they violated the Brown Act by reopening the public hearing, and it's been ruled upon that that's not true, that they can reopen it. If he looks at any of the other meetings, we've reopened public hearings again just because a couple minutes later, because we had another question for the applicant or the residents on there. So anyways, he doesn't have the facts and took a beating. So if you read his paper, I'm sorry. Good luck on there, but feel free to call me anytime if you want the truth. 562-706-4114. And I hate doing podcasts like this, but one of the benefits of it is that I can clear my name against people when they're saying things that aren't factually true, or their meanness gets in the way. So I'm sure I'll get another story against me. I'm good. I don't have any more skeletons in my closet, and I didn't do anything wrong here. And the city of Downey ends up winning. The people of Treasure Island are going to win. They're going to get an amazing project. Let's talk 5 years from now when this project is finished, and I look forward to it. So anyways, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to Talking Downey with Mayor Mario Guerra.